Kezdem egy Jokerre, hát hogyha van valami mondani való.
Megkérjük a Presley-t.
Carry on, Presley.
Yes, ma'am.
Boy, am I glad to be off in Novaria. I don't know which was worse, the cold or the corporations.
Egy
One will
kisebb
freeze your balls
utál
off,
innen.
the other will sell them out for money.
Cheers.
With all due respect, man.
Kizúgy lehet, hogy kiment.
I'd like to know my crew. Mind if I ask you a few questions?
Bár nem hiszem, szerintem
I can see
jó
where
volt
this is
neki a
going. You did a
fénybe ülni.
background check on me, didn't you? Well, I'll tell you the same thing I told the captain.
Joker nem
You
nagyon
want
szeret
me
ugye
as
járkálni,
your
ugye
pilot.
betegsége
I'm
miatt.
not good. I'm not even great. I am the best damn helmsman in the Alliance fleet. Top of my class.
Hát akkor is kezdjük itt a felső emeleten, még itt, ugye itt van Liara, meg Kaden.
I'm sorry, Joker.
You mean okay? Put the Normandy in my hands and I'll make her
I have to go.
Alright.
Shepard szekrényében van cucc. Azt is ellenőrizni.
Joker csak a bullshit-et mondta megint. Tiszteleg, köszi! Na. Kört. Elrakjuk. Csak vasz.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Semmit nem mond. Mi a Liara?
If you are here to talk about Benezia's death, you need not bother. She brought it upon herself.
Don't pretend it doesn't bother you. She was your mother.
She was. But she was not. I prefer to remember Benezia as she used to be, before she was corrupted by Sovereign's power.
The best of your mother lives on in you. Her determination, her intelligence, her strength.
That is kind of you to say. I appreciate your concern, but I am fine. Benezia chose her path, just as I have chosen mine. I am with you until the end, Shepard.
Maybe we could pick up where we left off. You were telling me about your interest in the Protheans.
Actually, I think I was talking about my interest in you, and making a fool of myself in the process. As I said, I am not used to dealing with people, especially humans. I did not really know much about your species when we first met, Shepard. I found it hard to take humanity seriously. Your kind always seemed so rushed and high-strung.
We don't have the luxury of time, and Asari can live for 1,000 years. We're lucky if we hit 150.
That is true. At first I thought that was a weakness of your species. After spending time with you and your crew, however, I think it may actually be an advantage. You humans are creatures of action. You pursue your goals with an almost indomitable determination. It is an admirable trait, but also an intimidating one.
You're scared of us?
Unfortunately, the rest of the galaxy sees humanity as something of a bully. You run over anyone in your path to get what you want. It is up to people like you to change their minds, Shepard.
I'm doing the best I can, Liara.
There is a reason the Council chose you to become a Spectre. They saw something special in you. The best of what humanity has to offer. I looked into your history. I know what happened on Akuz. The fact that you survived shows a remarkable strength.
You didn't need to go behind my back. I would have told you whatever you wanted to know.
I apologize, Commander. After our last conversation, I was afraid I would say something stupid again. I wanted to know more about you, to understand what made you into the woman you are. There is something compelling about you, Shepard.
Are you sure you're interested in me, or is it my visions of the Protheans?
I admit, your connection to the Protheans had something to do with my initial interest, but it has grown beyond that. You intrigue me, Shepard, but I was not sure if it was appropriate to act on my feelings. I thought there might already be a relationship between you and Lieutenant Alenko.
You want a relationship with me, even though we're both women?
Micsoda hasonló, miről beszélgettek?
Gendered, Commander. Male and female do not have any real meaning for us. We do,
Alira
however,
is
have
not
Ja, hát
personal
igen, itt most
instincts.
döntsd el, hogy
Perhaps we would feel
lesz
what you
románc vagy
consider
sem.
a
Hogyha nem,
female
akkor
role.
kilépsz.
I'm sorry if this is awkward for you, Shepard. I am only trying to be honest. I feel as if we share some type of connection. But none of this matters if you are already involved in a serious relationship with Lieutenant Alenko.
I care about Caden.
Hát akkor Caden-nel akarsz össze.
I thought so. Still, I feel as if there is also some attraction between us, Shepard.
Van. Azt szeretném, hogy barátok maradnánk. Tévedtél.
You're right.
Van.
There is something
Micsoda?
between us.
I knew it, and I knew you felt it too.
Most mit csinálsz?
But does this not seem rather strange?
Most kavarok, mint a kettővel, képzeld el.
Close to you. We have
Majd most
Amúgy-
oda megyek utána Cadenhez,
We are from
aztán
two
annak is
different
eljátszom itt a
species.
szente szüzet.
We have almost
Amúgy meg lehet
nothing
azt
in
csinálni
common.
mind a kettővel, és akkor majd egy idő után itt választás elé
Kivétel.
állítanak. Láttam egy videóban.
These things never make sense. They just happen and we get swept up in the storm.
You make it sound so chaotic, so dangerous.
Védelek,
I'll keep
félsz?
you safe.
I am not looking for a protector. This is all a bit
És mit
overwhelming.
csinálsz amúgy most
I am
akkor?
not used to this.
Még mindig duálok vele, hát.
I need some time.
Nem vagyok hozzászokva, időre van szükségem. Te kezdted.
Take all the time you need.
Értem.
I'll be here.
Én itt leszek most meg Cadenhez.
Let's just talk about something else for now.
Do you know why
Benezia.
Benezia joined up with Saren?
Benezia was swept up in events beyond her control and lost herself. She fell under the spell of indoctrination and became part of the very thing she wanted to stop. But I will remember and honor how she lived, not how she died. My mother was strong, kind, and beautiful, and now she is gone.
Are you gonna be
dear.
okay?
You are kind to ask, Shepard. I do miss her, and I grieve for what happened to her. But I will not let my grief interfere with what we are trying to accomplish.
I'd like to know more about the Asari.
We were the first species
És
to
itt most
discover the
elmondta,
Citadel. We
elmondja
were
izé.
instrumental in forming the Council, and we always strive to be the voice of
Caden
peaceful
elmesélte, hogy
cooperation in
a
galactic
biotikus
disputes.
kiképzésen bántották a csajt, aki tetszett neki, és ő meg megölte a
Each species
kibántott.
contributes something to the greater whole. Although we seek
Jó.
to understand
Micsoda
Azt mondom,
hős.
azt mondom, jó tetted.
it seems few of them seek to understand us. The
Megérdemelte.
galaxy is filled with rumors and misinformation about my people.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Ne érezd rosszul magad, Caden, én is ezt tettem volna.
Beszélgetünk Cadennel. Szerezd meg.
We haven't had time together since our last chat. A lot was said when we talked.
You seemed
Flirted.
decisive then, Lieutenant. Why so hesitant now?
Sorry, not sure where I stand. You seem a bit, distracted by someone.
All right, Alenko. Off the record, permission to speak candidly, cross my heart and hope to die. What are you talking about?
Dr. Tassoni, ma'am. There's a lower deck rumor that she's, interested in you as more than a source of Prothean data. She's a very interesting lady. Not to my, tastes, but, I never claimed to be big on alien culture.
You seem awfully worried about my personal affairs.
It's just that we don't have much downtime these days. I like being around you, but I don't want to take up your personal time.
Look, there's nothing between Liara and me.
Szegény
What's the
Caden.
real issue here, Caden?
No issue, Shepard.
Kár azért, hogy nem lehet megmenteni.
Not when you're around. I'm just looking for an ear. That a briefing wasn't the right
Hát
place
ez
to
egy
say how
ilyen.
ridiculous this is. Seems like every other race in the galaxy is wrapped up in their own problems. They don't want to see what's coming.
Wanting to believe everything will be fine? Sounds like human nature to me.
Yeah, I guess some things carry across species well enough. I should remember that after what happened with Vernus.
I think you'd carry a grudge over the crap you took from Vernus.
Before I met Vernus, I knew as much as any other civilian. Aliens were weird, superior, and tried to tell us what to do. I mean, it's only been 26 years since first contact. That's not a lot of time to understand them. But it was Vernus who made me see how human aliens are. They're not different or special. They're jerks and saints, just like us. Hell, by the time I got payback, I didn't even want it anymore.
I don't see you snapping very easily. What finally did it?
He hurt Rana. Broke her arm. She reached for a glass of water instead of pulling it biotically. She just wanted a drink without getting a nosebleed, you know? Like an idiot, I stood up. Didn't know what I was gonna do, just something. And Vernus lost it. Beat the crap out of me. Kept shouting how they should have bombed us back to the Stone Age. And that's when the knife came up. A military-issue talon, right in my face. I cut loose. Full biotic kick right in the teeth. Almost as strong as I can manage now. At 17, that's something.
You wanted to help a girl you cared for. That's a noble thing.
Maybe my intentions were noble, but I lost control. I killed him, Shepard. Snapped his neck. They probably could have saved him if they got him to an infirmary quick enough. But they didn't. Caused a stir when they shipped him home. Bot training was shut down. Kinetics folded a couple of years later. It's funny. I'm not sure which of us got the worst of what happened.
Was Rana all right?
Rana? Yeah. Yeah, she was fine. We never really, we stopped talking after that.
Tell me what happened.
Rana had a gentle heart. She loved everyone. Vernus terrified her. We all protected her from him. Everyone who loved her. But after what I did to him, she was terrified of me too. Anyway, this is, I had a point here. Aliens are individuals. Just because one's an ass doesn't mean they all are. So, yeah, I hated that Turian. But he wasn't a Turian to me. He was Vernus.
And here I was concerned you were damaged goods.
Well, I've got a few scratches and dents. Hope they just give me character. I don't think we'll be operating without support for much longer. Pretty soon, not even the Council will be able to ignore what's going on. Glad you'll be here when it's over, Shepard. I'm looking forward to some shore leave.
Just trying to get a sense of where the crew's at. Thoughts?
I've wasted enough of your time for now, Commander. We'll have time for personal debriefings later.
We'll talk later, Caden.
I'd like that.
Mehetünk le a szerelőkön, vagy még Liaránál be? Vagy?
Itt próbálom a dolgokat.
Egyengetni? Egyengetni a dolgokat? Szavasz, Rex. Várjál, csak előbb megnézem, hogy van-e valami. Előbb beszélgetek.
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
What happened?
I was betrayed. I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up, to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, The genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes. A meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from, and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
Sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
Jared was your father?
Na, hol
He
tartasz?
was.
Rexel beszélgetek.
Sokat mond?
We talked.
Sokat el?
Beszéli a
Anywhere.
történetet.
Jaj, aha. Elmeséli a izét, azt, hogy mikor elárulták.
These men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
Hát igen,
You must have
szomorú.
family other than your father.
Öregtek a
Don't you
történetek.
miss them?
You're trying to make me cry,
De
Shepard.
majd rendbe
I've
hozzuk.
got some unfinished business with my family, but that's all.
What kind of business?
Before I left, I made an oath to my father's father. I swore to recover my family's battle armor. It was taken from him
Most mondja
after the
Polcsát.
uprising.
What's
És
so
akkor már
important
azt
about this
hozzá
armor?
koordinátákat is, mi?
It's a relic. Useless,
Mert
really.
akkor megyek én is le hozzá.
But it was worn by 5 generations of my family before the war.
Az egy mellékküldetés lesz.
Originally, it was taken by the Turian military. We weren't allowed armor or weapons.
Legalább így már tudni fogjuk, hogy hol van. Ott hozzá koordinátákat.
Now,
Nem kell ezt találgatni. És akkor oda mindenképpen őt visszük magunkkal, meg valaki tenni.
He's made millions selling Krogan artifacts that were stolen from my people. He's got several bases where he stores his goods. All fortified and guarded. I just don't know which base has my family's armor.
Meg fogom keresni.
Just tell me where to start looking.
I'll upload the data to your nav system. But Commander, I want to be there when you find him.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Ez kész.
Commander?
Ashley?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure, if you have time. Figured you'd be busy with tactical briefings and whatnot. Don't know what I think about us attacking today, of all days. Kind of an ill omen.
You mean on the anniversary of the first contact war?
At the end of it, yeah. My family always marks it. I'm the only Williams here. I guess you'd be the only other one interested in it.
Seems like an odd thing to celebrate. That was 26 years ago.
In our family, it's not really a celebration, more like an obligation.
Igen, itt azt hiszem, most Ashley-vel majd beszélünk. Itt lesz egy meggyőzés. Tehát Ashley-t próbáljuk meggyőzni arról, hogy bízzon az idegenekben. Mert ő azért nem bízik az idegenekben, majd mindjárt elmondja.
There's almost nothing in your files. Technical scores and a list of crap assignments.
There's a reason for the crap assignments. I'm General Williams' granddaughter, the commander of the Shanxi garrison in the war. The only human ever to surrender to an alien race.
Oké, most jövök Ashley-hez.
I see. That's why you drive yourself so hard.
Beszélhet.
A Williams has to be better than the best, if only to avoid suspicion. That's what my dad told me the night before he retired. Takes a special kind of thick-headed to march into a job where your family's
A
blacklisted.
fegyverszünet.
I did it anyway. I'm not gonna let our name go down with Arnold and Quisling. Granddad deserved better than that.
What happened to your grandfather after the war?
He was relieved of command as soon as Shan-Chi was liberated. They brought him back to Earth in irons, but there was never a trial. They quietly demoted him and stuck him behind a desk. He retired a year later and spent the rest of his life working construction in the colonies. Sometimes we hear about attempts to get him exonerated in some official way. Nothing ever comes of him.
As I recall, your grandfather held out for a long time.
The Turians wrecked the orbitals in the first wave and occupied the major cities. They sat in orbit, dropping rocks on anything that moved. Granddad dispersed the troops, but when they went into the cities for supplies, the Turians would wreck a block to eliminate one fire team. Civilians were dying, his troops were starving, and he couldn't contact Alliance High Command. So he surrendered the garrison.
Is this why you're always going on about the council?
If everyone else can look at Shan-Chi and say, this is why humanity needs to be
Bővebben
strong,
kérdezzük ki a nagyapjáról.
I'm entitled.
Aha.
Hát igen, ő volt a parancsnok a senkinek, akit megtámadtak a Turián. És ezért nem nagyon kedveli az idegeneket.
You're a valuable part of my crew, Williams. If I want an opinion from the head, I go to Alenko. When I want one from the heart, I go to you.
I also play a mean game of pool. But anyway, I've got things to do before we land. I'm sure you do too.
What's your opinion of the last mission?
You mean the Rachni, right? They were dangerous, Skipper. They proved that 2,000 years ago. I think it was a mistake to let them go. But that wasn't my call to make. It was yours. You know, you really should talk to Chisoni about her mom. She has to be hurting. Just saying, Skipper.
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
I should get back to my duty, Skipper. Rifles don't maintain themselves. Not yet, anyway.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am.
Ashley. Garus.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
What happened? Why were you investigating him?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts.
Garusszal beszélek. Ez valami régi ügyét.
Igen, neki is most ősérek egy koordinátát.
There was a new black market lab, or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
You've seen this before on the Citadel?
Every so often, some lab sells unwanted parts through the black market, but they're not as bad as the cycles. I remember this one Elcor diplomat
Salarian genetikusat majd meg kell keresni.
attacking people up and selling their organs. Had the station in a bit of a panic. But this case wasn't that clear-cut. Turns out there was more going on than we first realized.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests.
Kereskedő.
The match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development. There was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
What'd you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
You mean threatening? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it paid off. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes. Walking, living test tubes.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good.
Jó, majd tető.
Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the
Hát majd
inside.
szépen elkapjuk.
Nobody could see.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway. We just used them to make more organs, but they wouldn't listen.
Well, you can't get them all.
No, but letting him get away like that. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
A few casualties is a small price to pay to stop someone like that.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, those hostages might be wishing they died by now anyway. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salian?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salian, I want to be there when you find him.
Na, lezsíroztam Gárusszal is dolgokat.
Megadta a koordinátát?
Aha. És ő is ott akar lenni, azt mondtam akkor.
Aha, persze, őt is visszatudunk magunkkal.
És jöjjön Tali.
Tali, elmesél megint minden. Hát igen.
Örülök, hogy jobban érzi magát.
So to speak.
I'm sleeping much better now. I guess I'm getting used to how quiet your ship is.
Na,
But I
örülök
don't
neki,
want this to
Tali.
get in the way of our mission, Shepard. First, we stop Saren. Then I'll worry about my own problems.
Tell me about your people.
Our lives aren't easy. Resources are scarce.
Na, de ez ma ugyanazt mondja.
On the move.
Hát csak először mesélt
Everything we
olyan
do
hosszú
must in
tört.
some way contribute to the continuation of the migrant fleet. There are 17.
Na oké, akkor most én Gárus, nekem most
We have had to
a időt,
surrender
koordinátákat.
Talk about something.
Megyek Talihoz,
I should go.
Talival ennyi volt.
utána majd megnézzük a izét a boltba, hogy van-e valami új tud. Jó, hogy újra mosolyogni látom.
Ja.
Kár, hogy nem látom.
Majd felszerelem a cuccokat. Nálam van gyorsan.
Ja, mindenkinek egy nagy utcátnézés is. Ez lehet, hogy videón kívül kellene, nem? Tehát így átszerelgetni.
Hát ja, az is.
Ez így nem valami izgalmas rész. Na, megbeszéltem Talival, úgyhogy jó, hogy most fölni láttam. Jövök ezt beszerzőt, hiszen hát, ha van kolosszus armorja. Sáska. Ez a sáska se rossz amúgy, csak hát nekem kolosszus kell.